Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This week, I really can't believe that I'm lucky enough to get to chat with Felicia Day. I've been a giant fan of hers pretty much since the first time that I ever saw her show up on any genre show. Followed her to Geek and Sundry, Tabletop, The Guild, and of course Supernatural, and all the other shows she's dropped in on. We're here today to talk about two projects, and it's none of those. Voyage to the Stars Season 2, the improv comedy podcast that Felicia's on, where she plays scatterbrain scientist Elsa Rankford, has its second season premiere coming September 17th. We also chat about her upcoming book, Embrace Your Weird, Face Your Fears and Unleash Creativity, which is a subject near and dear to my heart, and I couldn't wait to chat with her about it. The book will come out October 1st and will be available everywhere that you get books. It's a great chat, and I hope you enjoy. I am super excited about Voyage to the Stars Season 2 getting to come out. I'm a sucker for old school radio play of setup. And so when I'd read an interview with Ryan about moving into that space and really seeing that as kind of an untapped land for podcasting, I thought, well, yes, that's just perfect. There should definitely be radio plays again. There was a troupe in Austin a couple of years ago that I think Salvage Vanguard did a kind of a live stage Intergalactic Nemesis space stage show that was just hysterical, I thought. And so, yeah, Voyage to the Stars really brought back that.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Can you talk a bit about, having been a writer and a producer on things yourself, what it was like moving into the space of improving this and receiving these script breakdowns? What was your favorite part of kind of moving into that different type of role?
I've done improv my whole life. That was the kind of reasons why I started making content in the first place, because I had so many funny friends who I improvised with. I wanted to write them roles. So that's kind of how I got into writing a web series called The Guild, and got into producing with my company, Geek and Sundry. And that's how I met Ryan Koppel, because he did web series back in the day as well. And when he asked me to be a part of this project, I was like, oh, improv on audio? That sounds odd. But when we started getting into the booth doing things, it was amazing. So Colton Dunn and Janet Varney and Steve Berg are just so funny that it was perfect. It's a perfect format, really, because we can edit it later. We get these rough script outlines for what we need to do in a scene. So we kind of have a beginning, middle, and end, but then we don't know what we're going to be saying in between there. So we have all this freedom to make up anything, and yet we know where we're going, so there's no insecurity of like, oh my gosh, I have to make something happen to get to a point where we can get out of the scene. So it really is very freeing as an artist, and being able to improvise with these amazing improvisers is such a pleasure.
What's been your most favorite thing that you've listened back to an episode and gone, oh wow, I forgot I said that?
Oh, every single word. I don't remember anything we say. We don't remember anything we do. We listen to the episodes as like they're brand new, quite frankly, because we don't think about what we're doing. We're just reacting in the moment. And so, when we react in the moment, we're not retaining anything. I mean, I can remember some gags and stuff, here and there. But in general, I'm like, what? I said that? So it becomes like this really fun exercise when we listen to it of like, wow, we really know our characters well.
What's been the most surprising thing watching the audience get into it? I know kind of setting it up as a space for world building was part of kind of the initial thrust of the project. And I've loved that recently as fan fiction has kind of changed this idea of authorship and making a community space for people to really get into a world. Has there been anything for you watching the response to the first season where you went, oh, wow, I didn't think about grabbing onto that, and the fans did?
I mean, I just think the reception for the characters, like people liking the characters together, has been super fun. Like, we come together in a kind of combative way, and then we kind of bond toward the end of the season. And it really just makes me understand that it's always a testament to the characters, whether anybody, it doesn't matter how many CGI dollars you have or whatever, how fancy it is. It's all about the relationships between the characters. And like when you improvise with people, you really find a rhythm, and you kind of also know it'll crack each other up. So like we're playing behind the microphones in a way, but we're also playing with our characters and finding, new avenues to go with them. So I think having the audience go along with that is really a fun experience. And I love that sort of visceral one-on-one connection. And, this audio form actually does it quite well.
In terms of bringing in guest stars on season 2, is there anything that y'all did consciously to try to drop into that comfort level maybe a little faster to make sure that, they weren't just in a hot seat for an episode?
Yeah, we always invite people in early to listen to a section where their characters aren't in, so they kind of get used to it.
Oh, that's a great idea.
All the actors, so we kind of give them their sea legs just as an observer. But honestly, they're so funny. These are the caliber of performer that don't need training wheels. Angela Kinsey and Oscar Nunez and Jesse Cox and Paula Tompkins, they're all so funny as performers. So it's not really necessary, but it does help just because everybody, it is kind of a not typical format to work in. But, everybody seems to slip into it pretty easily.
I am super excited about Embrace Your Weird coming out. I liked Wreck This Journal. I have a huge interest in having gotten out of kind of out of my own way in the last year or so on a lot of projects and realized how much I was trying to hide or excuse away a bunch of reasons to start projects. And so when I saw you had this book coming out, and I thought I really can't imagine a more timely message for me or really very many more powerful people to hear it from than somebody that has managed to achieve success and yet remain very much like one of us who made good.
Thank you.
Can you talk a bit about putting out your autobiography and getting response back and deciding that you needed to do this?
Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't be here without self-help books like Artist's Way and So You Want to Write and all sorts of, I would not be here without boosts along the way during my career to get me over these humps. After I wrote my memoir, I kind of shared my whole journey about how it was a struggle to get where I am. And I think a lot of people don't see that. They just see success, especially on the internet. We see the glossy end result of everything.
Yeah.
And when you're able to share, this is very hard. And these are the things I had to go through. When people can relate, then it makes it more possible for them to create themselves. And I saw that reaction after I wrote my memoir, You're Never Weird on the Internet Almost. And because it was so strong, especially around the issues of anxiety and depression and just people being willing to create where they weren't before, that made me so happy because creativity isn't about ourselves. It's about the way we affect other people. And so I wanted to do a book that kind of gave the keys to the reader a little bit more than just about me. And so this is kind of an interactive book where I try to duplicate the way that I interact online in a book form. So I will talk about something like procrastination, and then there'll be some exercises inside the book for people to do. I really want people to, scribble and tear this book. Because I think the more we can encourage ourselves within safe confines to break rules, the more we're going to be able to break out of our shell that kind of the world has imposed upon us and show our true selves. And so that's kind of the motivation for the book. And I have to say, when I copy edit it, I learn a lot. Because I get blocked all the time. It's not necessarily, I fixed myself. Everything's easy from now on. No, it's a constant battle. And so, even copywriting the book the other day helped me get over a block I have in a piece of writing I have. So I think, wherever you can find an inspiration, find it. And I wanted to do a whimsical kind of funny way to kind of help people get their voices out there in the world.
That's great. I'm really looking forward to it. There's definitely one of the things that jumped out at me from the description of it is this idea of creative community. I was an only child. I went to public school. I know you were homeschooled in Texas, or all over the place. But
all over the place, yeah.
You remember. But I never felt like when I was going through college and art school that I needed creative community. As an only child, I didn't have it around. I didn't think I was missing anything. And a lot of my first experiences taking things I loved at home alone out into the world were awful. I was shocked when kids were just like, oh God, we're mocking this. What? I didn't know this was on the list.
Yeah.
And so it was just really recently, I think, that I started making, a true faith effort towards creative community, because even when I recognized that I needed it in my 20s or 30s, I didn't know how to join it or foster it non-competitively or not be, kind of shitty about it.
Yeah.
For you, what would be the ultimate goal if this book found everybody?
Oh, man. I mean, if it found everybody, we'd have a lot more weirdness in the world. We'd have a lot more people happy. I truly believe that we're happiest when we're showing our authentic selves to the world. And I think a lot of anger and resentment and even trolling online comes from our inability, because of the way we're raised or bullied or just the mindset that we're raised with around creativity, is that we're not allowed to show ourselves to the world.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're weird and you stand out, there's this peer pressure to conform, especially as children. And so we get bottled up early on. We get to schools that only have grades as an end result of your self-worth. And a lot of families raise children like that as well. And so we're so afraid of showing who we are, and afraid of messing up. And I think those are two things that I've had to overcome a lot in my life. I was homeschooled, you're right. I got bullied, after I got out into the world as an adult, and I was like, I don't understand why you don't like this part about me. It's who I am. And so it was a real adjustment for me. And I luckily have been able to beat that back over the years and just show myself, even though sometimes it hurts. And really, you're right. It was when I found creative communities that I was like, oh, it's okay if those people don't like me, because these people love what I do and they will encourage me to get better along the way. And so what I would love is for people to incorporate creativity into their lives, whether it's just a hobby or a profession, and show themselves through that creativity in the way that only they can show. Because I believe that really is fundamentally important to who we are as people.
Well, I can't wait. I feel like a bunch of people I know are probably going to grab this book, and we're all going to be like, oh, yeah, you got to do it. Where are you in it? So.
Oh, I hope so. And I do hope that people bond over it. You're right, because when we find something we're excited about, we want to share it with other people. And that impulse is like the whole definition of my career, whether it's video games or board games or just like being a weirdo. Like I'm excited about it, and I want to share it with other people because it's genuinely enriching for me. And so I do hope this book allows people to do that and then form support groups that sustain that over time. Like, sometimes you read a self-help book and then 2 weeks after you're feeling great and then you kind of fall off the wagon again. I'm hoping that my message of the work of creativity is the reward and persistence. I hope those two messages kind of go forward with people and keep them on track to doing those things that might not be the easiest, but they are the most fulfilling in the end.
Yeah. I found the projects that I started in my 20s, it was like a bellows. Like I had to have this huge amount of energy to kind of slingshot me towards a goal. And if the project was too long, it was just inevitable. It would fizzle out because you've got to find a way to get a gold star off, fulfilling promises to yourself each day or something. It can't be the final goal of the project because there'll be grinding days. And that's been a huge shift for me. Yeah,
that was a big shift even writing the book. I'm much better writer now, just working on projects after I finish this book than anything, because I'm a little easier on myself, and I'm embrace the fact that the process will have will throw up barriers in front of me. That's just part of it, and so it's not a reflection of me as a person that I can't get over a hurdle easily. It really just means I got to work harder, and that mindset really, really helps because you're right. Creativity is not easy. It's not going to be just like spitting out, a masterpiece every time. It could once, but then the next one maybe not. And so it's enjoying the process of the work that will get us through. And I think you obviously already embraced that.
Thank you so much for talking to me about it. I've been really excited about this interview. That's why I was flipping out a little bit when I couldn't get the phone to work.
Oh, that's so great. Well, thank you so much. You're a good interviewer, so I appreciate it.
Cool. Have a great rest of your day.
All right.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.